On some days you look up at the sky and you can see the craters on the moon with the naked eye. And what that makes me think is, I would say that we need a word to describe things that give you a sense of being surreal because they're true. We don't have that word. Well, the number of experiences that I've had in life where I was stuck in some particular situation, and that time seemed to be interminable. And then, I was able to find a way out. And that reality, that kind of prison of a particular building, in the case of school, of an office, prison of a particular city or country, or a particular state of mind, a particular set of beliefs. When that goes, it's gone forever. And even if you go back to that environment and you look, it's not the same anymore, because that's not your prison anymore. So, for example, recently I've had the experience of walking through the hallways of a European high school. And I hadn't done that for how long? Well, let's say 20 years more. And it was just surreal. Still there, because they're all the same. And they have the particular smell because there's a lot of wood being painted over, multiple coats of paint, and it's never been changed. And it's the cumulative smell of all the smelly kids that have ever been in that hallway, and it's perhaps the plastic flooring that's being consumed by human footsteps, and that perhaps has given off a little bit of that odor. And just, I mean, it's like jail, you know? It's like walking into a jail, but you're not a convict, you're just visiting someone. It's that eerie sensation. And I think the nature of that sensation of surreality is the juxtaposition of something that is sticky, a situation that by its own nature is kind of like a prison. But at the same time, you're not a prisoner. So the two things really don't go together. Anyway, I had the experience of walking through those hallways, and it was a mind fuck. It was not pleasing nor displeasing, it was just surreal. And the same happens to me when I walk into an office and I see those same snippets of imagery that I used to be familiar with. The carpet, nice chairs, nice desks, telephones. And you know when I really feel that is when I have to wait. When I have to wait there for a while and the lady's talking on the phone, or she's moving some papers, or she's doing some other crap, and I can see that for her, that's prison. She can't get out of there. That's all she knows. But I can walk out. In a moment, I'll be out of here. And that really messes with your mind. And let's say, for example, the third such experience. See, I've had a few, and they all share some basic reality. So that's how I noticed this. Is the idea of looking at pickup artists, or even just seeing them, or even just hearing their stuff, or perhaps I click somewhere and I get out some web page about that, and I remember the sheer misery of getting into this battlefield where the enemy is omnipotent and you have no weapons. I mean, in the best of cases, you're just trying to be a clown and ditch every last bit of self-esteem, or literally become a clown and do magic tricks and palm reading and pretend you're flying and all those stupid things, just to appease somebody who has, basically they're sitting there, and I'm talking about the 8s and above now, they're sitting there like emperors, just bored because they just had like 50 different types of jokers and entertainers walk by, and each one's got a little trick, and each one is kissing their ass. Because understand, even if you're treating them like shit, like they want, you're still kissing their ass, because you wouldn't normally treat them like shit, or perhaps you would in a different way, but not the way that you have to treat them like shit. Like I don't go around seeking to neg people for any particular reason. And if I look at that, it's surreal, because I was in it. I was in it trying to prove to myself that I could do it, and I had very little. All these things have in common, by the way, is that when you're in them, there's something you don't know. There's something that's completely escaping you, and you're restricting the field of action to a narrow range of possibilities. And sometimes it's not because you're stupid, it's just because you have some kind of belief that something is possible that in reality is not possible. For example, I don't know, I remember when I was trying to let me not give even more examples, because then it gets even more complicated. But the point is, all of these things are surreal. They're states that are extremely stable, and then one day there's something that changes and they are no more. And it seems to fuck with your mind. That situation that was so inescapable, that once it's gone forever. And it just remains as some kind of surreal and distant memory. And even if you go back to it, or you're exposed to it again, it changed. You see it as small, as insignificant. I have a lot more examples that I could give, really. Well, anyway, the point is, I look at the moon and I can see the craters. And what that reminds me of is the fact that, it's not just space engine. It's not just on space.com. It's not just on the books that we're in this ball in the infinity of space. It's real. And there's a ball there. It just moves around. It's got craters on it. It's like a little bit of cosmology that infringes on your everyday experience, because the moment that you look out of, the moment you're not reading scientific articles, the moment you forget all about space, there's no space anymore. They're just people talking, and they talk and talk and talk. They talk a lot of shit. They talk about political correctness, they talk about race, they talk about Starbucks, they talk about the stock market, they talk about corporations, talk about socialism. We have stand-up comedians. I mean, the human world is very different from the physical world. We have our own virtual reality, is what it is. Social reality is virtual reality. Things are made of people and opinions and utterances. That's why most people are so bad at dealing with systems, because their native environment is the virtual world, not the real world, the virtual social world. But then you look up and there's that thing staring at you in the face, reminding you what's really real. What's really real is not the supermarket. It's not people driving around in their iron boxes. What's real is space. We are in an insignificantly small little bubble of social virtual reality. And then I think, because I have to, that just like school was like that, prisoner, no chance of ever getting out, day after day after day. Back when years didn't go by like peanuts, back when years were this long thing, like 10 years now, perhaps. Back then, when you're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, 9 too, okay, I don't want to leave out number 9. Years are so long, and there was no way of getting out. It was going to be that way basically for the conceivable future. And the awareness that one day I'd be out of there was just some kind of intellectual awareness that didn't really make itself noticed very much on a daily basis. It was just, pack your school bag, do your fucking homework, and this anguish that there was fucking homework to do for the next day. So that even after you get back from school, you have this shit to take care of. The most boring, authoritarian type of crap. Just do as you're told, even though it's stupid, even though it doesn't mean anything. And then it's gone. Boom. It will never ever come back. It's gone. It almost seems like it never existed. The only sign that it ever existed are emotional scars. That messes with your mind. That's the type of surreal experience that I'm talking about. And yet, even this experience of being sandboxed to a particular planet, whether or not I'm able to get out through augmentation or through becoming a Dyson sphere and having my own simulated virtual world, it's going to be better and more complex than the whole physical universe, or whether I simply get out by reaching the end point of time, that is the end of my physical existence. This thing that seems so stable, so impenetrable, it seems so restrictive, this ball of rock that I can never leave. I don't have a starship. Even if I had the starship, I wouldn't know where to go. Even if I knew where to go, I would be too far. I'd never get there at subluminal speeds. Even if I could get there, it would be an ocean of time before I get there. I'd have to get cryonically suspended. Even if I could cryonically suspend myself, I get there and find what? Aliens looking completely different that are just going to be disgusting. I'd have to change my mind. I have to change my mind, but if I could change my mind, then I wouldn't need to go anywhere. So it's really a prison. It is a prison that lasts for an ocean of time, just like school did. Well, back in the school days, it was a matter of years. Now it's a matter of decades. And they feel very similar. And yet, when I get out of here, out of your disgusting, regressive, authoritarian, parasitic civilization, humanity will be no more. It just won't exist anymore. I will look back at my days here and think of them as small and insignificant. And just like for all my other experiences, there will be only one silver lining, only one element of pleasure, which is to know that I got myself out of there. And universally, everyone else didn't. People that I went to school with either ended up becoming professors or they're fixing washing machines in the same little fucking town. And the people that I work with, they ended up wasting their life in the fucking cubicle where they were, where they've always been. No one ever escaped that shit. And the people that I was going around with in the pickup artist day were still chasing after pussy, still with no self-esteem, still walking around broken and in need of validation. So this will just be the last iteration. Having been through this so many times, it really is immaterial whether I get there or not, because I already feel like I can get myself to the other side emotionally whenever I want, which is, well, a place where this is all gone. And when it's gone, it will never come back. It will not be a vacation. It will be the end of it. That's it. You graduated, get the fuck out. Bye, you stupid pieces of shit. You know, the teachers, the human failures that could do nothing else in life but sit on a fucking desk and be mean to children. That's all they could do. With their pathetically insignificant knowledge of whatever irrelevant field they were pretending to be teaching. And these people will also be gone, you know. The billionaires, well, some of them won't, but it doesn't matter because they will change so much they won't be them anymore. Just their figure, their persona. Their persona seen as an institution, as a class. The billionaire, the politician, all these people will be no more. Will be gone, man. Will never come back. The only thing left will be emotional scars. It's the only proof I will have that this ever existed. And if I manage to get out of here before everybody else, if I ever decide to come back to Earth to see which creative ways are popular nowadays of slaughtering each other and flying with fantasy, ignoring reality, and let's see what kind of authoritarian theocracy people have come up with this time. Because they tried the church, they tried socialism, they tried Nazism, now they're trying political correctness. What else? I think they have literally infinite cards to play here. Always the same result, but by different means. Variations on a theme. If I ever come back here to check it out from low Earth orbit, I would look at it and think, how insignificant. This was my prison? Was this my prison? This little planet, huh? The tiny roads, the tiny cars, tiny people making their buildings. It takes them 2 years to make a fucking building. Their primitive technology, still using metals and concrete. The trash collection system, their toilets, because they're still halfway animals, so they have to shit. They shit for a living. They shit to live. It's still good. A lot of them live to shit. A lot of them, their life is shit. In fact, most of them. But I will think of this, I will see this, say, so this was my prison. Trivial, man, trivial. Can't believe this seemed so inescapable. This little, pathetic little world. And if it doesn't exist anymore, I might be able to visit another similar planet at the same rough degree of technological maturity. It should probably be very similar. And look at that and think that it's exactly the same, just like the high school that I visited recently. It's pretty much just the same as the one I was forced to attend. Same type of jail, same smell, same everything, just a different place. So when I look up at the moon, that's what goes through my mind. I really am in space. This planet really is insignificant. And even though I know it intellectually most of the time, it's not something that I think about necessarily. That is a real reality, not this diversion, this simulated social game. That is real reality. Space. One day, this little rock will be one of countless billions of planets. Countless billions. Now I'll think, that's all I knew. Oh my God. It's like when I think back to my school days, that's all I knew. I knew one language, one city, that was it. Lobotomized, really. I was a nothing. A nothing. That's what I was, a nothing. That's what I am now, a nothing. The only thing I know is this little world. But the difference is I've learned my lessons, so now I can extrapolate. I can get to the next level before I get to the next level. So I know I'm nothing, having seen only one planet, only one civilization. I know there's better. It's the only reason I'm here, putting up with your fucking Dunkin' Donuts and your fucking TV announcers. Listen, everything you make is disgusting. Everything you make is trivial and should not exist. And the fact that it exists, if I wasn't here, would simply be an adequate and perfect punishment for the fact that you've created it. Like if I was not forcefully embedded into this system, your flaws and the consequences of those flaws would be the most balanced, the fairest thing in nature. If you think about Dante's Inferno, people are punished according to their sins. So if you ate too much, you're forced to eat until you die, which you can't die. But if, I don't even know exactly what all the layers of hell are, but okay, he came up with creative ways of punishing people for every sin. And in fact, that's the way the world kind of spins. You sin of gullibility, you suffer by gullibility. You sin of weakness, you suffer by weakness. You sin of political correctness, now you go under the tyranny of it. The fairest system ever devised. Only one problem, I'm here. But I won't be forever. And when I stop being here, I will never be here again. Even if I come and visit, to take pleasure looking at how bad you've gone down, just to see what happened. The whole planet becomes some kind of Islamist theocracy. Have you set up a perpetual nanotech-enabled tyranny? Have you secured an eternity in the Middle Ages for yourselves? When I come and check you out, I will just see this place and feel the same sense of surreal juxtaposition between that which seems escapable or which has always seemed inescapable. So let me start over. We'll see the surreal juxtaposition of that which had always seemed inescapable, mixed with the fact that I can leave in a nanosecond, which I will. I will take a look and then just say bye. Sorry. There is an infinity of much more interesting timelines to be explored. So, in conclusion, when I see the moon, I'm reminded that the following concept is always valid, should be at the forefront of awareness. And that is, fuck humans, fuck your planet, fuck your civilization, fuck your languages, fuck your devices, fuck your women above all. Just fuck yourselves into darkness forever. You are irrelevant and you will be irrelevant. And I'm gonna get out of here. If I have even just like a very small window of opportunity. Just like a very small opening. Even like a little glimmer of luck. I will take it and eject from here. Leave you to create your preferred version of hell, like you've always done. I will fix the only thing that's wrong with this system, which is I'm in it. And that's pretty much the whole story. Greatest story ever told. I was born, people sucked, and then I got the fuck out. And that's a true myth. That's the best myth.